Hello students, today we're going to work on gesture drawing. Gesture drawing is spelled with a G. G-E-S-T-U-R-E. Gesture drawing. Just for a quick example, you're all familiar with Usain Bolt. He makes this very interesting victory pose that we call it. His arms are leaned this way. He's got long arms. His torso, his neck and shoulders lean this way. He has that high hip movement. The leg is planted down here. And this other leg is leaning this way, planted here to show that he is firm on the ground. That's generally the victory pose of Usain Bolt. So what we can do is, we have the movement here. Let's go ahead and insert the form. We know we have this big shoulder muscles. This arm here is folded down and it's overlapped by the forearm. Usually a big muscle there interferes. The fingers tend to point. So we can generally make the shape of the fingers, just pointing and clutching. This one, we have that long bicep that comes to the elbow, the forearm, and of course we're going to make that point with that thumb where we can see that thumb pointing and the pointy finger. So he's pointing, and we have that rib cage that's coming down to the waist, and then that hip joint area, huge. We cover that up with that shirt. You know they run in that shirt, that tight fitting kind of swimming looking shirt. And that thigh muscle is usually huge. Knees are pretty big. This calf muscle is really, really huge. And that high muscle on the other side. That foot is really planted there. Here comes the other thigh. Of course, the tights that they run in, you could generally see that fit. And that leg is really planted there also. He's usually looking up like, oh boy, I have won. Got that eyes, nose. There's usually a smile there or something. And there you have gesture drawing, which is quickly capturing the movement and form of the subject. Gesture drawing. Ballerinas, just like any other athlete, they're very active. Their movements are sometimes quick, sometimes slow, and very strong. Again, here we have the long and lean body type. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the movement that's going through the form. Normally, they're very good at doing things with the torso and the hand, the shoulder that just moves over with that lilting hand, the other leg that kind of comes here and kind of sways here with that nice delicate point, and of course the force of the leg, the standing leg, that ends up in a deep point. Now, that's generally a very delicate pose for a ballerina. You can see that just with the gesturing lines. That really has you understanding what movement that this ballerina was taking. Now we're gonna go ahead and wrap some muscle around, some flesh around, and in this case, her costume is a lot of fun. So we can gesture the costume also. So we're gonna go into this very strong, long leg. There's a deep calf muscle, of course. And ballerinas are very well known for a very intense point on toes. So curves like this are super duper important for what a ballerina does. Now this leg, let me correct it because it's a deep knee bend here. And of course the calf is going out here. And then comes that nice delicate ankle and the point that is literally doing this. That's what her point is doing. And sometimes they have those fun straps on the leg to show. I'm not going to do much in the body here. Normally you would literally have the hip area and show that, but right now what she has covering is, her skirt is very fun. A lot of movement in there. You could definitely see that it's a serious costume design. And of course there's the back end of the skirt showing on the other side. In here she has that rib cage area that we show. Her sleeves are very flouncy and puffy. And then comes the arm. There's the forearm. Down to that lilted hand. It's just beautiful with the thumb curving in and that pinky sticking out. Very nice. There's her chest area. There's a design on this too. It would be lovely if we could gesture that. It's hard for me to see it from here. The neckline, it's a lot of fun. And here comes that flouncy sleeve again. Very delicate. There's the forearm. Coming all the way up to that very delicate finger again. Ballerinas are very expressive with these delicate fingers and what they're doing. And here we also have this neck. Necks are very long. We can make a big deal of the neck. And of course that underside of the chin, because she's looking up really high into the stage. In this case, she's wearing a beautiful crown that's crested on her head, and she has a beautiful bun beneath this beautiful crown that she has here. And there you have your beautiful ballerina. Sometimes it's fun to add lines of the stage to show that she's really actively performing on this wooden floor stage. There are the curtains, there are the curtains, curtains, curtains. And I always love to indicate shadow. And there you have your ballerina. As I always say, you try. We're going to go back to capturing movement and form. Movement and form. So we're going to work on a running horse. Generally, that horse's head is here. Horses have a really long, thick, strong neck. The back is usually swayed. The hindquarters are usually pretty big, and that tail is usually flying off doing something. So already we have a general idea of the length of the form and the movement within. So then we can go in and work on how this shape area of this face and that really thick jawbone area. The eyes tend to branch out a little bit. You usually have ears somewhere here, and that neck is coming through, and the mane is usually flying as the horse is running. Now his necks on horses are really muscular, very thick, very strong. Comes into this nice, thick, round muscle right here where the legs tend to protrude, okay? Also the same for here, very thick hindquarters, and that belly comes in, okay? The legs work in, they tend to be very narrow here, coming to a hoof. In a stride, you usually have the other part. That's a stride where that horse is really running. And there goes that other hoof. Okay? Now in this area, sometimes you have that thrust that comes from him really setting in to move out, and that hoof where you can kind of see behind it. And of course, this other front leg is moving forward. So there you have the quick movement form of a strong horse. So we can actually insert a little bit of grass, tall tree, because he's somewhere out here. So this is a quick capture of a scene or a setting where you would find a nice horse running through the garden. Maybe not a garden, but a farm. Now you try.